Every fighter is allowed a bad day at the office. It happens. You're feeling flat, you're perhaps over-eager, you're fighting down to the level of your opposition, you just can't get into rhythm, you've got the flu. Training wasn't good enough, you've got a twinge in your elbow. It could be for a variety of reasons, but you are allowed a bad day at the office. That seemed to be what Gervonta Davis recently had against Gamboa. What was a little bit concerning with the performance was that we might already be seeing a guy who's starting to fall in love a little bit too much with his power, with his nickname, of course, of Tank. And when that starts to happen at such a young age, your boxing goes to shit and you become a less effective fighter. And then ironically, that leads to less knockouts. He was loading up so much in that 12-round fight. And when you really load up with the big punch, the irony is that you're showing it to the opponent first, so that even if you do get maximum torque into it, they're really bracing for it. And they're able to anticipate it and ride with it a little bit more. Too many times Davis was just looking for absolute huge corkscrew uppercuts, and it was going all wrong. Yes, he eventually got him out of there, but then didn't Gamboa have a horrendous ankle injury? So not very impressive at all. It reminded me a little bit, and happening earlier in Gervonta Davis's career, of what happened to Prince Naseem Hamed. Similar weights. Prince Naseem Hamed was at his most effective when he stopped the clowning, when he stopped playing to the crowd, and he just got on with his boxing, and he used that awkward Ingle gym style of switch hitting, using his boxing, building up the combinations, and then eventually finding the big punches. Naz, when he later just started loading up like he did against Broner, worst opponent to do it against, the best opponent you've ever faced, you start loading up thinking it's going to be basically the finisher, it's going to have the same magical effect, less effort is put in and you don't get the same results. It just doesn't work like that. You have always got to stick to the basics. Davis looks like a guy who's hanging around the wrong people. Adrian Broner, of course, whose career went off the rails in, I guess you could say, a predictable way. Now, he was a guy who had some similarities with Floyd Mayweather, but he was probably told he was a bit too great to begin with, and that didn't do him any favours. Bit of a self-sabotaging mentality as well, but when you wear that pretentious personality all the time, the kind that doesn't look at mistakes that are being made, that is when you're going to dig your own grave in the ring. And that is kind of what Gervonta Davis might be doing here. He might not be listening to the right people. He's loading up with the shots. Where's the boxing? And I'm saying this as well because the way he's talking, the fact he even recently said, I'm the A side if I fight Lomachenko. This is showing delusion, and Mayweather started this whole A side, B side bollocks. Loads of fighters take it, and then they love to claim that they're the A side. There is no way that Gervonta Davis is the A side in a fight with Vasily Lomachenko. Lomachenko is known more worldwide, and the last two performances, though Lomachenko wasn't spectacular, you'd have to say he was more entertaining against Luke Campbell than Davis was against Gamboa. It's not always good to watch when you're just loading up big shots. People like to see, even the casual fan, though they may not say it, they like to see guys who can box a little bit. That's why I think part of Deontay Wilder's popularity has suffered. And it's part of the reason why Mike Tyson was so popular, because the guy could really open you up. It wasn't just a big shot. He knew how to put his punches together in a satisfying way. And if Davis lets his style just go to shit, then it's going to be a bit of a shame, and it will prove his big undoing in a fight with Vasily Lomachenko. He is going to have to be at his absolute best, and I think have a slap across the face before he attempts to take on the Matrix. But hopefully that is the fight that can happen. I'm hearing Lomachenko might fight Lopez, and if that happens, that really puts the pressure then for Gervonta Davis, who of course is older than Lopez, to start trying to get the big fights and being accused of just hiding behind Floyd Mayweather. I do expect he'll bring a better performance if he does fight the likes of Vasily Lomachenko, but we've seen it too many times, falling in love with your power. He needs to get his boxing together.